It was 5:02 a.m. when the pounding on my front door pulled me out of sleep. No one knocks at that hour unless something is wrong. When I opened it, my neighbor was standing there, pale, shaking, terrified. He looked me straight in the eyes and said, "Don't go to work today. Just trust me." And that one sentence saved my life. Because hours later, the building where I worked was attacked. People were hurt. And according to police footage, I was there. My car, my ID, my face. Everything said I was inside that building except I never left my house. What happened next exposed a secret my father died trying to protect. And the truth about who I really am. I stood in my doorway frozen. The cold air bit at my skin, but it wasn't what made me shiver. It was Gabriel Stone, my quiet, distant neighbor, the man who barely nodded when we crossed paths. Now looked like someone who'd seen a ghost. "Gabriel, what are you talking about?" I asked. "Did something happen?" He shook his head, scanning the empty street as if something might be listening. "I can't explain right now. Just promise me you won't leave the house today. Not for any reason." His tone wasn't just serious, it was final. Like a warning, he already knew I wouldn't understand until it was too late. Before I could say another word, he stepped back, whispered, "You'll understand by noon," and walked away. I watched him disappear into the mist, my mind spinning. Gabriel wasn't the type to panic, and he definitely wasn't the type to make up stories. Something about his fear didn't feel random. It felt targeted, like whatever danger he was running from was meant for me. At first, I tried to reason it away. Maybe he was having a breakdown. Maybe he saw something that scared him. But deep down, I knew better. My instincts were screaming that something was about to happen, something I couldn't see yet. And there was one more reason I couldn't ignore that warning. My father, 3 months earlier, he died suddenly of a supposed stroke. But in the days before it happened, he'd been trying to tell me something. "It's about our family," he said. "It's time you knew." We never got to finish that conversation. Since then, little things had started happening. Cars parked near my driveway for hours. Calls from blocked numbers. A strange man watching my house from across the street. I kept telling myself it was a coincidence. But now, hearing Gabriel's voice shaking with fear, I realized none of it was coincidence. Something was building, and by noon, I was about to find out what. I tried to distract myself. Made coffee, opened my laptop, told myself I was being ridiculous. But the hours crawled by like time itself was holding its breath. Every sound in my house felt louder than it should have been. The ticking clock, the hum of the fridge, even the wind brushing the window, all of it made me feel watched. By 11:30 a.m., nothing had happened. No news alerts, no chaos, just silence. I almost laughed at myself for believing Gabriel's warning. Maybe he was just paranoid. Maybe grief had made me jump at shadows. And then my phone rang. The screen showed unknown number. Normally, I'd ignore it, but something in my gut told me to answer. "Ms. Rowan," a calm male voice said. "This is Officer Taylor with the County Police Department. Are you aware of a critical incident that occurred at your workplace this morning?" My stomach dropped. What incident? There was a pause. The kind of pause that tells you the next sentence is going to change your life. "There was a violent attack at your building. Several employees were injured. We have reason to believe you were present." I froze. That's impossible. I wasn't there. I've been home all morning. The officer hesitated. "We have footage of your car arriving at 8:02 a.m. Your key card was used to enter the building. Security logs show you on the 3rd floor minutes before the attack." My knees went weak. No, that can't be right. "Can anyone verify your location this morning?" he asked. I looked around my empty living room. "No," I whispered. The silence that followed was suffocating. "Ms. Rowan," he continued carefully, "items belonging to you were recovered near the scene. We need to locate you for your safety and for questioning." Question. My hands shook as I clutched the phone. Someone had stolen my identity, or worse, replaced it. My car, my ID, my face all being used to frame me for something I didn't even understand. And in that moment, I remembered Gabriel's words. "Don't go to work today." Whoever had orchestrated this didn't just want me gone. They wanted me to be the one the world blamed. And by noon, the truth would start to unravel. A sharp knock broke the silence. 3 firm hits, not frantic, not friendly. The kind of knock that means authority. I froze, still holding the phone. My heart slammed against my ribs. How did he know the police had called me? "Gabriel," I said through the door, trying to keep my voice steady. "What's going on? Who are you, really?" His tone was calm but urgent. "You don't have time to question that. The people who just called you, they're not coming to help. They're coming to take you." He stepped closer. "They're federal, but not the kind that protects citizens. They're part of the same group that staged that attack. They plan to use you as the scapegoat." My pulse roared in my ears. That doesn't make sense. Why me? Gabriel's voice dropped lower, almost to a whisper. Because of your father. I froze. He continued, he wasn't an accountant, Alyssa. That was his cover. He was part of a covert federal investigation, one that exposed a classified genetics program. And you, he paused, as if saying it aloud might change everything. You were part of it. I felt the room tilt. That's insane. My dad was a normal man. No, Gabriel said quietly. He was trying to protect you. When he realized what they'd done, he went rogue. That's why he reached out to me. Reached out? I whispered. I didn't move next door by accident, Gabriel said. He sent me here a year ago to watch over you. The words hit harder than any knock ever could. My father, who had been dead for months, had been preparing for this day. Gabriel reached into his jacket and handed me a small black envelope. He left this for you. My fingers trembled as I opened it. Inside was a letter written in my father's unmistakable handwriting. Alyssa, if you are reading this, what I feared has come to pass. You are not in danger because of what you've done, but because of who you are. There is more to your identity than you know. Trust Gabriel. Do not surrender yourself. If they take you, you will disappear. I read the words over and over until the meaning sank in. Everything I'd ignored, the car, the calls, the strange faces, it was all connected. I looked at Gabriel. What are they trying to do to me? His expression hardened. They're not trying to kill you. They're trying to erase you. And if we don't leave right now, he glanced toward the window, they'll succeed. The sound of distant sirens began to echo down the street. Not loud enough to panic the neighborhood, but close enough to make my blood run cold. Gabriel looked out the window, jaw tight. They're here. I didn't need to ask who they were. The way he said it told me everything. Without thinking, I grabbed my father's letter and shoved it into my pocket. Where do we go? Somewhere your father prepared for this, Gabriel said. But we have to move now. We bolted out the back door and into the cold morning air. His SUV was parked 2 houses down, engine already running. The moment I climbed in, he hit the gas. Tires screeched against the pavement as we tore out of the neighborhood. In the rearview mirror, I saw them. Black sedans, tinted windows, moving in formation. No flashing lights. No sirens now. They didn't need them. This wasn't a rescue, it was a recovery. For a few minutes, neither of us spoke. The silence was heavier than fear itself. Then Gabriel said, "There's something you need to see before we reach the vault." He pulled a tablet from his jacket and handed it to me. A file was already open. My name stared back at me. Rowan Alyssa, Subject 7B. Designation, Genomic Asset. Status, Active, High Priority. I scrolled down. My pulse hammered harder with every line. Gene expression, non-standard. Blood markers not found in ordinary humans. The subject exhibits complete immunity to multiple viral strains. Potential regenerative properties. I swallowed hard. What is this? Some kind of joke? Gabriel's voice was steady. It's not a joke. It's the reason you're still alive. He glanced at me. 20 years ago, your father discovered a secret government program called Project Origin. They were trying to engineer immunity into the human genome, but they didn't create you, Alyssa. You were born with it, naturally. I shook my head. That's impossible. He thought so too, Gabriel said, until they started studying your blood behind his back. He tried to pull you out, but that made him a threat. His death wasn't a stroke. He was silenced. The highway lights blurred outside the windows. I could barely breathe. So all of this, I whispered, was to get to me? Gabriel nodded. They needed you back under their control. The attack was a distraction. You were supposed to die in that building, and your name would have gone down as the one responsible. A convenient story. A perfect cover-up. I stared out the windshield, the realization hitting like a physical blow. They wanted me erased, I said quietly. No, Gabriel replied. They wanted what you claimed. And as those black cars faded from the distance behind us, one truth settled in my chest like fire. I wasn't being hunted because of what I'd done. I was being hunted because of what I was. The road ahead twisted into the mountains, long, dark, and empty. The kind of place where cell service dies and secrets stay buried. Gabriel turned off the main highway, taking a narrow dirt path that seemed to lead nowhere. We're close, he said, voice tight. Your father built a failsafe. A hidden facility off the grid, untraceable. Only 2 people knew where it was, him and me. Wind howled through the trees as the SUV bounced over uneven ground. Finally, the forest opened up to reveal what looked like an abandoned mining entrance sealed by a rusted steel door. This is it? I asked. Gabriel nodded, pressing his palm against a metal panel on the side. A faint beep, then the door began to slide open with a low mechanical groan. Inside, the tunnel glowed faintly blue from lights embedded in the walls. We stepped inside. The air was cold and metallic, and every footstep echoed like it belonged to someone else. Deeper in, the space widened into a large underground chamber. Consoles, monitors, and old lab equipment surrounded a central pod, sleek, silver, humming softly. My father's handwriting was scrawled on the walls in marker, like he'd been mapping something no one else could understand. Gabriel walked straight to a terminal, typing rapidly. He stored everything here, his research, his evidence, and your genetic data. If we can decrypt it, we'll know what they really did to you. I stood there, staring at the pod. My reflection looked strange in the polished metal, like I didn't recognize myself anymore. Then something on the wall caught my eye, a photograph. My father, standing next to a younger Gabriel. Between them is a small girl, me. You knew me, I whispered. Gabriel hesitated. You were 3 years old when he brought you here. I was one of his assistants. But when the project was shut down, he wiped my record and vanished with you. He turned toward me. He didn't just protect you, he rewrote your entire identity. Everything you remember from before age 6 was fabricated. I shook my head slowly. No, I remember my childhood. My home, my school. All constructed, Gabriel said. Safe memories, false trails. He made sure no one could trace your existence. I felt the air leave my lungs. My life and my entire past was a cover story. Rows of encrypted files appeared, each labeled in the same format. Subject 1A terminated. Subject 2B terminated. Subject 3C terminated. Subject 7B active. Me. A new window opened automatically. My father's face appeared in a grainy video recording. He looked older, exhausted, but his eyes were sharp and desperate. If you're watching this, Alyssa, they found you. And if Gabriel's with you, it means I didn't make it. Listen carefully, you're the last one left. Every other subject is gone. They won't stop until they recover what's inside you. He leaned closer to the camera. It's not just your DNA, it's the cure. The cure to everything they created. The screen went black. Gabriel stared at the monitor, stunned. He found a cure and encoded it into you. Suddenly, the tunnel lights began to flicker red. A voice echoed from hidden speakers. Unauthorized access detected. Lockdown initiated. Gabriel's face hardened. They've tracked us. The metallic door behind us slammed shut. And that was the moment I realized my father hadn't built a safe house. He'd built a trap. The tunnel lights dimmed to a deep crimson glow, bathing the room in blood-red shadows. The steel door behind us slammed shut with a hiss, followed by the grinding sound of locks sliding into place. I could hear my own pulse louder than the alarms. Gabriel spun toward the terminal. They're overriding the system. They found the coordinates. The floor vibrated as a low hum rolled through the chamber. I looked toward the pod, its soft blue light now pulsing faster, almost alive. What's happening? I asked, backing away. He typed furiously. Your father knew this day would come. He designed the vault to protect the data, even if it meant destroying everything else inside. You mean us? I said quietly. He looked up, regret in his eyes. Yes. A piercing tone cut through the air. The pod's surface split open like a blooming flower, revealing a swirling mist of white light inside something organic, almost breathing. The hum grew louder, deeper, resonating in my chest. My instincts screamed to run, but there was nowhere to go. Then the walls around us flickered to life, displaying live satellite footage black sedans surrounding the forest entrance. Armed units moving in formation. They were already here. Gabriel turned to me, voice steady but desperate. Listen, the cure isn't just encoded in your DNA, it's active. It can replicate, transmit, heal. That's why they can't let you leave. If it spreads, their entire system collapses. What do you mean, replicate? He hesitated. You don't get sick, do you? I thought back. Not once. Not even as a child. Your cells repair themselves, he continued. That's why your blood never clots normally, why your skin never scars. Your father realized it too late. You're not just immune. You're evolving. The alarms intensified. The door shook as someone on the other side tried to breach it. Metal groaned under pressure. Gabriel grabbed my arm. You have two choices. Destroy this place with me, or run and risk them taking you. I stared at the glowing pod. The mist inside was coiling, reaching as if it could sense me. A strange warmth spread through my chest, syncing with its rhythm. My father's voice echoed in my head from the video. The cure is inside you. What if it's not meant to be destroyed? I said softly. What if he wanted me to release it? Gabriel's eyes widened. Alyssa, no. You don't understand what it is. But I already knew. Somewhere deep in my bones, I felt a pulse older than memory, like the earth itself was calling me home. I stepped toward the pod, the warmth growing stronger. The air around me shimmered. The mist reached out, wrapping around my hands like smoke that could think. The moment my skin touched the light, the room erupted. A blinding surge of energy tore through the chamber, throwing Gabriel back against the wall. The alarms died instantly. The red lights flickered out, then silence. I stood there unharmed. The pod had dissolved into thin air, leaving only faint trails of luminescent dust drifting upward like fireflies. My veins glowed faintly under my skin, threads of pale blue light pulsing with each heartbeat. Gabriel slowly pulled himself up, staring at me in disbelief. "What did you do?" I looked down at my hands. The cuts and bruises from earlier were gone. "I didn't destroy it," I said quietly. "I absorbed it." Outside, the sound of gunfire echoed faintly, then stopped. A moment later, the monitors showed the agents collapsing one by one outside the facility. Not dead, but unconscious, their weapons slipping from their hands. Gabriel stepped closer, awe and fear in his voice. "Alyssa, you're not just human anymore." I looked at him, feeling the air hum with energy. Maybe I never was. He swallowed hard. "What are you going to do?" I glanced at the monitors, the world above, oblivious, corrupted, controlled. My father's words echoed again. "You are the last one left." I turned back toward the tunnel. I'm going to finish what he started. The door, once locked, slid open on its own, as if recognizing me. Cool night air rushed in, carrying the scent of pine and rain. I stepped out, the forest alive with a strange, glowing mist rising from the ground, spreading outward slowly, beautifully. Gabriel followed, silent. The black sedans were empty now, their engines still running, headlights cutting through the fog. I walked past them without fear. The mist parted around me like a living thing, shimmering in the moonlight. For the first time, I understood what my father had created. Not a weapon, but a reset. A way to cleanse what humanity had broken. Behind me, Gabriel whispered, "What happens now?" I looked back once, my eyes glowing faintly in the dark. Now the world changes. And as I stepped into the forest, the wind carried a whisper soft, almost human. My father's voice, "You were never meant to hide, Alyssa. You were meant to begin again." Then the light swallowed everything.